Okay. I think we're live. Let me just double check, make sure everything went smooth.
Yep, you're live now.
Live, good, awesome. Let me switch the screen over. Okay. Oh, this looks high. What's up, everybody? Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Kind of been nonstop today. I have Kevin with me, ex AWP member, and kind of wanted to have him back on to do some questions, kind of gloves off, ask anything. And I made a tweet last night and I posted on Discord. And anything else that you want to address, Kevin, to you can. Got a bunch of stuff to go down. But welcome, man. And your channel is the Nomic Experience.
No mock.
Nomok, I'm pronouncing it wrong. The Nomok Experience. Okay. Welcome, man. How do you want to start off? Should we so you, because I remember when we had the conversation, you had joined like Jared offered you to do security. He didn't ask you anything about qualification or anything like that. He hit you up, I guess.
I think I stated in the email that I originally reached out to Adventures with Purpose.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me. That my background, I've been a part of some kind of security team since 2001, and I wasn't even really reaching out to him to be a part of Adventures with Purpose. I was reaching out to him to kind of give him the know-with-all of you got to step up your security. Because at that point they were finding major success in YouTube. And when you find major success, you're known by many people, and some of those people who may or may not have committed or been an accessory to missing persons, the reasons why they're missing. With that amount of exposure, I noticed they weren't taking some necessary precautions. And if I even told him, I said, if you are, then, just disregard what I'm saying. And he was very responsive to that, to let us know that, he was not taking the necessary precautions. Even on top of that, we talked about in the response email correspondence back and forth, how, they have tens of thousands of dollars in equipment that, when they go out in the water, just Sam and Dan and Jared, that all that stuff is still, sitting at shore with nobody guarding it. So I said, that's also up for discussion on how to protect that stuff.
This wasn't 2020?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, he reached out and said, I'm all about that. If you're looking to do security, we'd love to have you on, or at least meet us in Sioux City, Iowa, and we'll go from there. So I did.
One of the things, because there's a bunch of questions and we can go wherever with it, but I guess in regards with security, Jeff had asked, Kevin, was security for Jared / AWP, right? Is it usually to hire security for, or is it usual for a dive team to hire security? What did the job entail? Did you ever have any issues or any memorable stories doing security?
I would say that any YouTube channel that is quite large in the public eye needs some kind of security, if it's just something they do on their own, or if they bring people on volunteer like myself, or hire somebody. Because we all know that there's a dangerous world out there. So the more exposure you have, you make somebody angry, or if somebody just wants to be a weirdo and follow people around, that there's definitely a heightened level. Heightened, I mean less than zero or more than zero, for somebody to kind of be there just to keep an eye on things that the producers and the content creators or whoever's in the video, they don't have time or enough eyeballs to pay attention to things that may or may not come up. So yeah, common practice. I'm pretty sure that we talked about Heavy D Sparks. We talked about, Britt and Doug and other channels. I can't speak for anybody because I don't know their behind the scenes, but I'm sure that the bigger channels have reached out with some kind of security or bodyguards or whatever.
Did you ever have any issues or any experiences doing security for them?
I can't recall anything that's too important, but yeah, a major one. Yeah. So I don't know why I didn't just think of this initially. But yes, a major one. So there was that case I was talking about in Texas. That was 100% known murder case when it came to the evidence, talking to the children of the missing mother and where she was at, her past, her boyfriend who she was with. And he was recently out of a long felony charge that he just got out of, I think a couple of years before him and this mother got together. And he was known to be in the drug industry. He was known to be very violent towards women. He's been arrested before, excuse me, for that. And since we were looking for that missing car, he ended up driving by where we were searching. And I know because we knew his truck. Of course, as security, I'm going to hit up all of the information that I need to be good at the volunteer work that I was doing. So we knew his truck, we knew his name, plate number, and for sure he drove by that location we were searching. And I was standing armed, open carry in Texas. Thank you, Texas, for having that law.
Yes.
And he noticed and never came back. But I'm pretty sure that it would have been a different situation if that wasn't the case.
I want to grab just a real quick question from the chat because I'm a little intrigued by this question. Texas Angel said, "Are you familiar with the Brooke Allensworth case?"
Haven't heard of it.
Okay, all right, because that's a whole situation behind the scenes, kind of.
Is it on a channel? Is there a channel investigating it?
Kind of. There's Down the Whole Rabbit News. She's looking into it, and it would involve that whole situation where it's believed that there were skeletal remains seen in the water. It was on one of AWP's videos.
Mm-hmm. I did read about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think people are looking into it, but I don't want to say too much. But it's
a touchy subject right now.
Yeah. Another question. Okay. So that interview is when we found out Dan was the only one who ever got paid by that point. So Kevin did security for the team as a volunteer, question mark?
Yes. It was all volunteer based. And I'm gonna answer that question by also talking about the title "Gloves Off, Ask Anything." Mel and myself had conversations on the phone prior to this, and one of the things I mentioned is that the keyboard warriors that are out there, that they want to bring things up in comments that they don't have any reference to, or just to be a keyboard warrior. So I was talking to Mel and I was like, let's give them a platform if they need it or if they want it, where, the gloves can be off, i.e. not just being on a keyboard. Let's just do it live. And some of those comments, if people are wondering, I do read comments. I think comments are very important to read, especially when it comes to investigation cases or, things similar, because somebody might have some very good information. Plus, as a former YouTube content creator, it's being in personal contact with your subscribers who are taking the time out to write you something. So I think it's very important for content creators. Now, I was reading your comments for the video that we did, and there were some comments out there where I was like, you know what? If you're going to hide behind the keyboard and have some allegations out there, we'll just give you a platform. Come on up. And I'll show you respect with my answers. I'm not going to be attackful in any way, but I'm also not going to sit back and take it for false allegations. So I'm here. There's no gloves on. And this goes for the people that also have positive comments. They can, take the gloves off and not be afraid to ask any questions you want to ask. This is a topic that's only going to be more in the spotlight coming in the future.
Yeah, I believe so too.
So let's address one of those comments real quick, or a couple of those comments. Somebody accused me of riding the coattails of Adventures with Purpose just to gain subscribers.
That's one of the things I had for you too. Question.
Yeah, didn't I say that in your last video?
Yeah.
Didn't I say that? I told Jared that. Yeah, so you're not wrong. But to come at me to say that was my goal, or that I was hiding behind it, I mean, watch the whole video that Mel and I did. Obviously, some of these people didn't. Watch the whole video. You're actually just making yourself look like you're a keyboard warrior. And there's another one
And
that
I
said,
think that was part of the incentive too for some people. It's like, you know, they get that opportunity, they're volunteering for free, and part
Right.
of it, the kickback is, yeah, you know, you're going to get some promo, you're going to get subscribers out of this, you can, you know, promote yourself on my channel or whatever.
yeah. I mean, that's if you guys don't know, networking is probably one of the most important. Beyond a hot topic or networking for a brand new YouTube content creator is it's just what has to happen. So when I saw a networking opportunity, my goal was to live off YouTube money, not have to go to work every day. It's not a bad goal to have.
Right.
So I took that route. And another person said that I was up on all these panels talking about this subject, just spewing my own bullcrap. I've only done one interview.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, but yeah, I don't remember seeing you anywhere besides.
Yeah, I've never done an interview besides the one that I was with you. I don't have any interest in, like the next comment is that I'm just trying to build my channel and this and that. I'm back in the workforce. I'm not a content creator anymore. I am strictly going to do videos for the subscribers that I've had because I've become so close to them. And it's going to be 3 or 4 years. So I'm doing really well in the job industry where I'm at right now. And YouTube is going to be a hobby to hang out with the friends that I've met along the way, and
Right.
to also give the subscribers, you know, some way to follow along with my progression in real life.
And I think that's what a lot of the other guys are doing. I mean, I know you haven't been with AWP for some time now, but the other guys, that's what it looks like they're doing. They're going to try to build up their channels and kind of do their own thing in the meantime. You know, because a lot of them have families and whatever, not working regular jobs. I know you are. So, another question. So we talked about the subscribers, whatever. I think I saw a couple of comments too, and we're also gonna do questions in the chat. Katrina's gonna be monitoring it so she can take screenshots for me. I don't know if she's watching now. We still got a bunch that I got to go through for Twitter and Discord. But one of the things I had seen too under the video was that people were saying that it seems like you have a problem with Doug Bishop, like a you know, a personal vendetta, and we could even talk about the Sam screenshot things too, because that was part of the reason why you had an issue at the time, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think that in the live stream that I did last week with you, I showed that you can have a problem with somebody but still be honest about, you know, their integrity. And the excuse me, the problems that Doug and I had, you know, most of those problems are personal. It's between me and Doug and I. And I think the best way to be some small presence of a public figure here on YouTube is not only to discuss that there is issues, but, you know, also to raise him up in the spotlight, to take him away from, you know, all the arrows that are going to be shot at him for his just his association with Jared. So I got a lot of love for Doug. I really do. Him and I were really good friends before mistakes were made. Mistakes were made and ended in a friendship. We're all human beings, guys. I'm sure I've made a lot of people angry in my lifetime that I wronged. And I think that not holding him at fault publicly for that is my due diligence, just as a human being, that we're all human, and we know that forgiveness is huge.
Okay. And I know we already talked about it on the first stream, and I was sent the screenshots at the time where Jared Lacey was going for Sam on Facebook. And I don't know if I can share real quick. I posted on my Twitter, but I don't think we even really need to deep dive it. But, you know, Jared Lacey at the time had jumped at Sam after he left, and then Doug Bishop kind of parroted behind him.
Yeah, there's a see more in that. So that's not just the whole post.
That's not the whole thing. Yeah, I know the screenshot. They didn't send me with see more.
Yeah, the see more. There's so much more after that see more.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think the heart of all that crap is in the later paragraph.
Okay. I don't know why my image is that set. All right. My camera's off. Oh, what did I do?
Mel, you look nothing like your picture.
That's my mod. I don't know where I went.
You're an attractive person there, Mel.
Oh my god. Stream cam. For some reason it's not turning on.
Yeah.
Start
Technical
cam.
difficulties, you gotta love it.
All right. While I fix this, let me just put myself on the other screen. We can keep talking. Let me run your next question while I fix whatever the hell's going on. Can you tell us why Brock quit?
It's just me on your stream.
Oh, yeah, but they can hear
I
you.
feel
Though.
like
They can hear you though.
I'm taking over.
They can hear you.
There you
Oh,
go.
can you? I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Oh no! Hold on one second. Let me refresh. Yeah, the StreamYard shit. Never trusted. Can't access. Oh, I know what it's doing. My bad, guys. I figured it out. Multiple apps. There we go. Boom.
And I know there's probably a dope. There we go.
There we go. All right, my bad. Fixed. All right. So the question I was asking you was, why did Brock quit? And what did he do? I guess.
Brock, I talked to him, yes, a couple days ago. So if anybody's wondering that I don't have permission from Brock to speak on some things, I do. Brock is a person who struggles from PTSD with the military, the stuff that he's gone through, most horrific stories I've ever heard. So one of the avenues he found to help give him a meaning was serving as a diver, and he put a lot of heart and soul. Hang on a second. I got Ohio allergies like no tomorrow. I lived on the Pacific Coast for a long time, and they were gone. I come here and they're worse. But anyway, he put a lot of heart and soul into serving in some capacity to help families out. He did notice a lot of things off camera, as all of us did. And he also, at that time, was selling his house with his wife and 2 kids to move full-time into a huge RV and travel like I was doing. So we had a lot of that going on. And that's no easy task to transition from living in a house to moving into a tow behind and traveling. So with his busyness of doing that, he was also off camera gifted, or I guess he was told he was being gifted the original Adventures with Purpose boat. And there was also a giveaway at the same time to give away that boat. I'm not sure how it worked out, but Brock ended up getting a boat.
Oh, he's in the chat. Brock the Rock says, "What's up, man? I appreciate it."
Hey,
Brock the Rock.
Yeah, down to earth, true human being. Probably one of the best fathers I've ever met in real life. The way he loves his kids. So he had a lot going on with that, and then we had this debacle between the boat being gifted to subscribers or Brock getting it, and Brock ended up getting a boat that wasn't the original boat, which is no big deal to Brock, but the outcome of that was a conversation between Brock and Jared of Brock getting pretty much scolded by Jared for not doing videos for this free boat that he got, i.e. you're not promoting Adventures with Purpose for this free gift I gave you. And these boats are like $1,200, $1,500. So at that point, Brock was like, you know what? I don't got time for this. And if this guy's going to come at me for this, I don't got time for that. Then, he started hearing the stories from myself and probably Sam, I don't know, but from other people about the questions that we had. And when Sam and I made our exit, Brock and I were already in conversations before that. He was supposed to meet up with us for that, starting in Colorado to travel for, months on many cases. He was supposed to be a part of that, I think, for a couple of weeks, if not more. And he was on the same path. He's like, yeah, I'm done. I'm not going either. If you guys aren't going to be there, I'm not going to be there either. I'm not going to waste my time away from my family. If this is the way it's going to be. And interesting enough, I had a conversation with Jared months after. I only had one conversation ever with Jared after Sam and I left. And I remember it very well that I think the most important thing to Jared during that conversation was, why did Brock leave? I understand why you left and why Dan left and Sam left, but I don't understand why Brock left. And my answer to him was, you have to ask him, man. I'm not going to be your mediator back and forth. Reach out to Brock and ask him. And he never did. He never reached out to Brock to ask him the reasons why. And that's just the way it is with him. But yeah, Brock left for moral reasons, moral and family.
Okay. 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 Tyler asked, can you ask if they're planning on rebranding out without Jared or any future plans? I mean, I know you're not, I guess, because you've been for a while, but I don't know if you know any other guys. It seems like I don't know if they even can rebrand themselves or what the deal is with that.
I'm sure there's going to be a rebranding. Only because there's a lot of success right now. And the brass tacks of it is that this stuff is needed. And why not rebrand? Have I had conversations if they're going to do that? No. And I don't think that even if I was in conversations with anybody that has just left the team, they would have any legal obligation. I think they have legal obligations to not discuss that. I would imagine.
Right.
That time will tell.
I don't remember if I asked you this in the last stream. Stephanie wanted to know, when were you told about Jared, by whom, and have you read the emails? Has anyone ever complained to Adventures with Purpose about his behavior?
Many questions in that.
Yeah. So when were you told? Let's start with the first and second. When were you told about Jared, and have you read the emails? I think at the time you told me you haven't read the emails.
No, I saw them on your live stream that you did. And so that will lead into the first question as well. So I found out by Sam. Sam called me up, and we talk, if not, once a week, once every 3 or 4 weeks, especially as both of as busy as we are now in our personal lives. It's probably once a month, maybe twice a month. So it's normal for me to get a phone call from Sam and just, shoot the crap. And we did, I think, for the first 5 minutes of that conversation. And then he dropped the bomb on me because I'm so far out of social media and the news that I'm just too busy, getting my life back together with a new job and a new place to live, transitioning from living in a van. So he did tell me, and I was both of us kind of said the same thing at the same time, which was not surprised, but shocked.
Right.
So I told him on the phone, I didn't hear about that, but I'm definitely going to go do some research tonight. He's 3 hours behind me, living in the Pacific Coast, and I'm over here on the East Coast. So I did, and I think when I typed that in, I just the first video that came up was a live stream that you just ended, and you showed all those emails. That's how I found out about the emails. And if I tell you what, reading those emails, I was like, whoo. Yeah. There's a lot of things that the prosecuting attorney is going to just find absolute gold in what you wrote in emails. You basically handed them a case on a plate.
Let me tie in two of these questions together from Stephanie and JD. Kind of, Stephanie had asked if anyone had ever complained to AWP about his behavior, and JD was saying, looking back, do you suspect that any of the members knew about the sexual assault, the alleged sexual assault? Doesn't have to name them.
Oh no, there is zero instances that I could tell you that anybody knew. I only know all of the previous to me leaving AWP members on an intimate level. I know, and Doug. I don't know Carson or was it Josh Cantu? Yeah, I don't know Josh Cantu or Carson other than the one or two videos that I did with them. I never even had their numbers. I'm sure that just be hanging out with those guys for the 20 hours that I did, that I know their character very well. And if they would have known, they would have not. Carson has, before meeting up with AWP, a very prominent career as an editor. And, Josh had a lot of stuff going on too. So if they would have found out, they definitely had avenues to support their families by leaving. So I'm sure they would have left.
Okay. Yeah, okay, I can move some of these out. Tark was asking, how honest does he know Doug and the crew to be?
How honest do I know Doug and the crew to be?
Yeah.
It's a tough question to answer. I never had anything other than very high admirations for Doug before the AWP falling out, and I mean that 100%. The other guys, I just don't know them.
Is there any concern that Jared Lasik will seek dangerous retaliation on his cousin or his old AWP crew? If so, why? So, I mean, I don't know if you probably couldn't really answer the cousin thing, but
well, people they're capable of anything these days. I don't know any situations that would say that Jared's a violent person that I was a part of. Let me state that I was a part of. His past before, he even never had a YouTube channel, obviously tells a different story. But yeah, anybody's capable of anything. There's no way I would know the answer to that question.
Okay. Joanne was asking, and I think we know the answer, but does he know at the moment where the membership money is going to? There is still 2.78 million subs, and he's getting the money as far as I know. It's his channel, I guess.
I guess the real number is how many members.
Yeah, that's true.
And I have noticed that he's put out some videos in the last couple of days or week, like 2 videos. So obviously his channel's still active. And that may or may not be because somebody else is running the show now, and they're planning on an after Jared channel.
And this kind of going back to Doug. Shelly was asking, can you ask him if he's ever met Doug's dad, and was his name also Doug?
No, never met his dad.
Okay.
I've only met Doug, his wife, and his children.
Okay.
When it comes to Doug's immediate family.
Check It TV had a question too. He asked on Twitter. He says Doug keeps stating he's a volunteer, implying that he's not paid, which I believe he is paid, right? We talked about that too. He's more than likely has to be paid.
There's no way he's not. Yeah. Obviously, he can't support a family on zero money.
Yeah. Are there any volunteers in AWP in addition, Sam? Are there any other? Okay, let me read that again. Are there any volunteers in AWP? I think the people are. I mean, I don't know if there's people volunteering before this whole thing happened, but most of the new guys were paid, I guess, right after you guys left.
The only volunteers that I knew that are a part of Adventures with Purpose. Now, the reason why I say it that way is there's plenty of volunteers that will come out and help us out, like in a state trip or, in a case trip. Anthony being one of them. That's how he got into the possibility of being full-time before all the crap happened. But volunteers, all I know of is myself, Sam. Doug was volunteer before Sam left when it came to hanging out and being, a helping hand. But Carson and Josh were never volunteer, as far as I know. And I don't know a whole lot. After I left, when Carson, Doug, and Josh came on, I don't know the behind the scenes or the contracts that they had.
Okay. He also asked, in addition, Sam said that he knew to ask Jared if it was a show day or a looking for missing persons day. Mm-hmm. Did the other AWP know to do the same?
I don't know. But yeah, that's a real thing. Put it that way.
That Duranosaurus was asking, and I think we've kind of touched on this. We actually have, but she says, I'd like to know if he could expand on whether how much, what exactly he and or other members were told about Jared's past. Would they have been given any details, or would it have been more vague, rough upbringing / youth, where he did some things he's not proud of, or more specific detailed?
I don't know, other than myself, the amount of his past that I knew of. I can promise you that nobody knew the past of what's going on in the media right now. That I can promise you. But when it came to his past, when it comes to me, the conversations that he and I had, the only thing he really told me about is his rough upbringing and being an orphan and moving to Grenada to kind of, get away and explore the world, and then failed in Grenada, needed more money, came back. Other than that, or past him coming back from Grenada, I can't remember anything he's discussed about his past. Nothing really came out as shady or illegal. I was actually brought into the illegal part of his past as a repercussion to them putting up that post on AWP's community tab where they bashed Sam. I got many emails of the court case against Jared and his brother for crimes in trading and insider trading.
Okay, ASCH was asking, seeing the way Jared spoke to the company in the video for Carson, I wonder if he has ever done this to any other company or person before. It would be interesting to know, since Kevin did security for him, if he had ever had to protect Jared because of his overrunning mouth or ego, to put it nicer.
Never had to protect him, but what you saw in that video was him off camera.
Really?
Yeah. I think I remember saying in the last video you and I did was he doesn't have a filter. He's very loose-lipped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did say that.
Mm-hmm.
She also wanted to know, does Kevin know how the equipment is handled, if it is jointly owned with other divers? I'm curious because some divers have said that they have losses because of this.
No, before I left, it was all Jared's gear. Besides Sam's suit and his dive gear, everything was Jared's.
All right, let me get to some of the chat questions now. Chris was saying, Kevin, do you think all of this is coming out now is maybe a ploy for more publicity? We all know that publicity, whether good or bad, makes money.
I wouldn't put it past the clickbait side of that channel. I wouldn't put it past it, but nobody's that stupid.
Right. This is.
You could pick anything to have negative publicity. This is the one thing that, everybody's going to walk away from you no matter. Put it this way. If he's found innocent, people are still gone.
Right.
And those emails, come on, guys, those emails. Yeah. It all comes out in the emails.
Texas Angel asked, are you concerned for you or your family's safety?
No. No, not at all. I want to. Why I'm laughing is that brings up another comment that I heard or read on your channel about me being alpha. They made a comment about how I'm an idiot for being alpha, I stated in that video, that interview that you did with me, that I've been bullied my entire life. And the thing about being bullied is either you continue to be beta your entire life or you figure out how to be alpha, because that's the only way to stop getting your butt kicked. Right. So I was a beta male all the way till the Coast Guard. And let me tell you, they taught that out of me. So when I mentioned that Jared was bullying me, I was just too alpha for him to gain any success in it.
Keaton's Junk Removal Channel has a question. It said, what's the name of Kevin's channel?
The No Mock Experience. And you guys are probably wondering what No Mock means. I know many people were when I first started it. It's a shortened version of No More Organized Chaos.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
I put the link, definitely if the mods can drop it in the chat for me, but I put the link to his channel too in the description. I'm gonna post it in the chat as well. Okay. And there's a crazy question too towards the end of all these questions. I
want those crazy questions.
I'm afraid to almost dive there, but
I want these gloves are off questions, because if you guys want to hide behind the comments after this video is over with, please don't do that. Say them right now. I'm here. Take the gloves off.
So yeah, if you guys have questions in the chat, Katrina's capturing the questions. Okay, so Lucy says, what is your take of Jared as a person?
Before or after? I mean, come on.
That's a good question. I'm gonna assume probably after, maybe. Well, I mean, maybe, I don't know if you can summarize both before and after, or I don't
know. Before, he was an annoyance. He was a necessary evil, doing good things for families, but the way he was going about them was wasn't very moral. He wasn't committing any crimes or anything against the people that he was helping, but he wasn't moral. So he was an annoyance to me, and especially the way he treated me off camera and how he treated Jacob from Chaos Divers. He was just a tool to me. I mean, I don't mean he was a tool for me to have something to use towards my success. I mean a tool in the most derogatory term. He was just a douchebag. After the allegations came out, he's not a human being to me.
All right. Yeah. Is it regarding? Hello? Okay, I will. I'm going to get to it. Thank you for sending that. Okay. That question is coming up too, the one I was telling you about. I didn't tell him the question, but I told him there's going to be a question coming up, so I was being reminded because there's people on the internet want to know. Okay, next one. Maybe we should just jump to that one. You know, let's just jump to the crazy shit right now. So let me pull it up here. And it's kind of long drawn, and it's kind of, let me see if I can pull it up on the screen so people can see. Hopefully I don't mess it up this time like I did the other time. Okay, good. And let me get it full screen.
It's a big one.
Yeah. So I'm going to read this because I've seen some weird stuff popping about online about this. It says, hey, I wish to remain anonymous, and I'm simply conveying a message from another individual. This is the message they wrote to me. You can choose to believe it or not, but this comes from someone who allegedly worked with AWP from the years of 2020 to 2021. And so I'm going to read this. These are just allegations, just online. I don't know if there's any proof or anything. But so it says, all accounting information is not my own and is alleged. Hi there, I heard that you were looking into people's personal accounts of Jay, which is Jared, name censored by me. This is my story. I'm formerly male trans woman who worked on AWP with Jay. I was doing freelance production while it's in school at USU. I was studying just outside Portland, but I'm originally from Salem, Oregon, later moved to Battleground. I was originally introduced into AWP from a family member of mine from out of state. Here in Portland, we had a situation where an individual fell into the Columbia River under the 205 bridge. At this time, my family member from Camas came down to help Jay out. I sat shoreside with the trailer for a majority of the time the first day, but I was enthralled with the adventurous atmosphere of the whole production. When the police showed up, Jay came came shoreside for a small bit and immediately came up to me, introduced himself. Now, I'm not the best with social skills, but I got a strange vibe immediately. But I'm sad to admit, I, at the time, being a gay man, became entertained by his attention. They went back out on the water, and I didn't see him for a few hours. I drove and got some Burgerville for the crew. Afterwards, I got some more time to talk with Jay. In the RV, we talked about sonar equipment and such, and eventually I mentioned my major in school, which is filmography. Immediately, he was interested in bringing me aboard. I was very happy because I needed more experience in the field and something to put on my portfolio. He gave me his phone number, which was, they censored the phone number here. I have no shame giving out his number because of what I'm about to share and because of what I learned. We had a few phone conversations the day after, and we all decided to get breakfast at Cracker Barrel outside the city. I was under the impression that everyone in the crew was going, but surprisingly, it wasn't anyone but me and Jay for the first 45 minutes. We talked about being vegan, and eventually, I guess he charmed me enough to admit my sexuality. Although I'm rather flamboyant, so I guess I wasn't hiding anything. He admitted to me that he was bi-curious when he was in his 20s, but never got to experience it much because he grew up Mormon and eventually left the U.S. and went to a non-gay friendly country. He asked me whether or not I've had sex with a man and if it was good. Eventually, he asked if I was attracted to older men. I lied and said no. He laughed and pretty much choked it up as a joke, saying, well, I'm married, so don't get any funny ideas. I told him I saw him more like an older sibling, and from then on, he would call himself my daddy. He even changed his contact in my phone to that as a joke. Apparently, he goes on his volunteers' phones a lot and pranks them. By this time, I was feeling rather uncomfortable, so I cut ties with Jay, along with my family member. For months, I didn't hear anything from him until the summer of 2021, when he sent me a long, seemingly drunken text about how he's super successful and could really give him a lot of opportunities just in case his marriage falls through. Because apparently his wife and himself were having problems at the time. I expressed to him that I had come out as trans, and he replied with sure. I lied and said I was in a relationship with someone, and the last thing he said to me was, you're lost, you could have been my first beaner boy. By this time, I was mad by his comments on my race and gender, so I blocked him. You can choose to believe my story or not, but I refuse to post this myself, so I'm sending in to you. Hopefully this reveals how much of a creep Jay still is. This is the end of the message I was sent as the poster. I can't say whether this is true or not. This was sent to me to distribute. There's a couple of things in there. I'm just kind of curious on your thoughts about that. And there's one thing too that I saw, not even just here, but other people mentioning that there was one video where he was with Carson and somebody else, and that he had joked about sexuality or something.
Yeah, that video came down.
It came down, and I read a lot of comments about that, and I just never got to see the video.
I can pretty much give you verbatim what it was.
Tell me, yeah, please.
So Carson is bisexual, and they brought Carson on and introduced him to this video. Sam was there, Josh was there, and they were talking about the upcoming trip for Colorado. This is before Sam and I quit. And he, like I said, Jared's very loose-lipped, and it was a live stream. So he let everybody know in the live stream that, what Carson does in his personal life when it comes to that. And it was a very snarky, loose-lipped situation, and everybody instantly was uncomfortable that was on that video. I was watching it live. They were all instantly uncomfortable. And we even made a lot of running jokes toward Jared on phone calls about what an idiot thing to say on a live stream. And I'm sure that one or many of those conversations probably got to him, and he took that video down within like a week. Obviously, if he would have kept it up, I even remember reading a live comment Because Jared said in quotes, Carson, you swing both ways from what I hear. And he was on that topic for a good 30, 45 seconds. And I remember one of the comments somebody wrote in the live chat saying, it's called bisexual, Jared, have some respect.
Two things I want to touch on real quick. One, somebody's caps lock typing in the chat is what we want, right? He said, why do you just make Carson's sex life public on YouTube? Is he open about that? It's not a secret, right? Or
it's not a secret.
Okay.
You know, I mean, Carson's a big boy. He is very successful. He's a very respectful human being. You guys got to understand that people aren't as sensitive as you are with that comment. A lot of people have emotional or social maturity.
Let me tell you. I'll say so. A couple of things to Anthony. 1994 NY Diver iCkEdMeL. He says, I can confirm Jared loved to do phone pranks. The other thing Sam had said, trying to see if I can catch it. Because if they didn't know back then, Jared put it out on that live stream. I guess he took it down. I can't find Sam's comment. Damn.
Yeah, see what's funny about comments like that
talking about the live stream.
Is you don't know me and you don't know Carson, but you're defending somebody you don't know. And you don't know the behind the scenes stuff. If you're that worried about Carson, then reach out to him and say, I'm sorry for what Kevin from the No-Mock Experience said, and leave it at that. But to come up here publicly on somebody's channel and try to out me for being a bad human being, I can give you my resume. I've done nothing but help people my entire life. And I'm showing respect to everybody throughout this journey. You can see how I've talked about Doug and other people. So
right.
If you want to be a keyboard warrior, this is the place. Bring it. This is why I said the gloves are off, because I can handle myself. And hey, what's up, Kyler? Again, very good to see you. So Sam's son is here, and so is Sam.
Oh, nice. Hey, Kyler, you guys did an amazing video together. I think you guys, just veering off for a second, I love the relationship you guys have. And I was telling him on Discord that I saw his son. I don't know if it was his son or Sam's channel. I forgot which channel it was. Oh, yeah, it was his son's channel. He had said, my dad, something in the thumbnail, scuba diving, or my favorite YouTuber. He said my favorite YouTuber. And it made me think a little bit about my daughter. I thought it was just really cute. And I know you guys are older. Don't take that in a weird way. But, as a parent. Sam also left a comment and said that in that live, he even joked about Doug and him were going to be sharing a bed. And so the reason because a lot of people might not be aware, but like if you look on Reddit and you look at the little rumblings on the internet, they've been talking about this deleted live stream. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I'm bringing it up in conversation. Now, this is my first time seeing this today. This post, let me see if I can bring it back up. I don't know if you've ever heard anything about this or heard of this before, or any thoughts on this.
I'm looking at the timeline too. I have no experience in this post or that person being there with AWP. Not saying that they weren't. I'm looking at the timeline of it, and I didn't start my travels with AWP until December of 2020. Went full-time live traveling the country in March of 2021. So the summer of 2021, I was all up in the Pacific Northwest hanging out with a whole bunch of people, but I was not a part of that breakfast or even was invited to it. Didn't know this ever happened.
Oh, there was a breakfast that you've heard of?
No, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw this post and the person had posted it and then apparently deleted it. And there's a lot of comments of people talking about things that they thought were kind of weird. And one of the things that had come up is that specific video that was deleted. And again, I don't care about anybody's sexuality. This person was speaking more to the character, I guess, that they felt the racial stuff that allegedly was brought up and bringing up his wife. And also I thought it was kind of interesting that supposedly this person said that they had worked with Jared, and that he was interested in bringing him on, but then I guess it didn't work out.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have any knowledge of that. Anthony, thank you for screenshotting some of these comments. I'm reading them, and good to see you, buddy.
And Anthony, you got timed out by accident. Apologies for that. Sam said he was unaware of this too. So take this with a grain of salt, but I figured I'd ask because we're having a, gloves off type of live stream.
Yeah. So
I had heard multiple people state that he was like made fun of or something happened on that live stream that was taken down.
Yeah, it wasn't more of Jared making fun of Carson. It was just Jared not knowing how to be appropriate. He's talking about going out and helping families and
Oh,
the upcoming itinerary for what's going on. And by introducing somebody that's a new member, you went, I'm talking immediately into, in Jared's words, he swings both ways.
okay.
Carson's a tough guy, guys. I've met him, and somebody said, "You never met Carson?" Yeah, I met him. Carson's he's fine. Believe me, he's fine.
All right. Let me go a couple more. See where I left off at. Okay. So, there's a lot of questions here. All right. Scrolling up. Okay, good. Caught up. So, Miss Pisces says, does he really keep all the money and not pay anyone because the helpers are volunteers? Let me just answer that real quick. Anthony had made a post earlier and it was screenshotted for me. Jasmine says, she copied his comment. Anthony said, all members of AWP as of June 2022 were being paid. Doug, Carson, Josh, Peter, Devin, Nick, etc. I don't know if you wanted to add to that or that's good.
I can only speak on the fact of before I left. Yeah.
Mrs. Jackal says, does Kevin know who was in charge of reading / monitoring the AWP emails while he was there?
Jared.
Okay.
Yeah, it was all him.
I remember there was a video that somebody had sent me a clip where Jared's talking about, I think he said his wife and two other family members managed his emails. I don't know if you ever seen that clip.
I'm sure he had a helper into, monitoring emails. Who that is, I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, there's when you got, 1.5 million views on average per video, you're gonna get a lot of keyboard warriors, guys who want to leave the gloves on.
All right. Okay, let's see. Cindy Fields, do you know if Doug still owns a tow truck company he had before joining AWP?
No, Doug didn't own the tow truck company. He was in charge of it, probably the second in command. And he had left that company before you saw him on videos as a regular person. Okay. So I'm sure that the reason why he left is because he knew he was taking Sam's spot. Allegedly. I don't know. I never asked him. Okay. I'm just putting 2 and 2 together and I'm getting 4.
Shredder says, would a person like Jared go so far as to create cases to make the channel grow? To make the channel grow.
Was he actively looking for cases?
So would a person like Jared go so far as to create cases? No, I don't think so. To create cases?
No, he had so many cases coming in. I mean, he was turning down 95% of the cases that were coming in.
I can kind of segue into another question that I had jotted down too. Because I had spoken to somebody and I was told allegedly that, he was selective with the jobs that he would pick.
Yeah, 100%.
And, yeah, another thing I was told, I don't know if this is true, I was also told he would, depending on how easy the job is, but also the reward money would be a factor too.
I don't think the reward money was a carrot at the end of the stick, only because it's pennies to, 1.5 million view video and the subscriptions, but it's still a motivation. I know that the cases were picked for success rate. All the videos that are solved are the moneymaker cases, or the moneymaker videos, solved cases. The ones, and you go back and you can reference that. Go through the channel. All the ones that say solved, they're probably 75% higher in views than the other so ones that are too.
Because I was having a conversation with Down the Rabbit Hole News this morning about that, about some of the cases that were marked solved, and I noticed, like you said, I did go down the channel. It looks like those marked solved do have like a higher view.
Yeah. So he would, it's good business for one, but it's also good success rate, you don't want to go out and do cases that have very little evidence of where a person could be, because, you want to help as many people as you can. He had mentioned to me before that he's turning down, this case and that case and this case because there's a low probability of success when it comes to, finding the person. But at the end of the day, it's also a business. So you're going to do the videos that he's going to do the videos that get a million hits.
That makes sense. Nikki, I mean, that's a good question. I don't think he knows that though. Nikki's asking about where's the other Kylie Ronnie video. We don't know. And Kevin wasn't a part of AWP when all that stuff happened.
Yeah,
that's a good question though. I don't know what's up with that whole situation.
If there's going to be reasons for people to think negatively about Adventures with Purpose through a video, they're going to take it down. Now, the bad publicity videos they'll keep up because it's publicity. But if they're proven to be some kind of nefarious or clickbaity, they're not going to leave him up there. He's a good businessman, guys. He really is.
Okay. AD asked, you probably don't know, but he says, what exactly was Jared doing in Granada?
Time frame wise, if I can be a skeptical person, he was running. Time frame wise, he was running. If we're taking time frame out of it, maybe he was just wanting to travel, but we'll never know.
Barbara was asking, isn't Nomac a van life?
Yeah, that's my channel is a van life channel.
Okay.
Which I no longer live in a van.
Okay. Sarah says, how long was Jared living in Granada? I have no idea. I don't know if you
know. No idea.
Kevin, is it true that Jared was concerned about his safety during the Suzanne Morphy search?
He was never concerned about his safety.
Okay. That
I was aware of. He was concerned about his equipment getting stolen and things like that. Crowd control too.
Veronica asked, was he ever creepy towards young girls in your presence?
No, I don't even recall young children. I mean, obviously there were young children that would come to the meetups or cases that we were doing, the fun cases like pulling cars out in Texas or pulling cars out in Tennessee. Nothing ever, made me have an eerie feeling.
Okay. James was asking, he asked us earlier, does AWP only do water rescue or do they do other types?
I don't remember them ever doing anything that wasn't underwater.
I think that's kind of all I have. If anybody else has any other. Oh, I wanted to ask you too. You kind of we spoke about this a little bit off air. The story about the guy that drove 200 miles to help Jared.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, we call him the gentle giant, and he's got a heart as big as his demeanor. And he helped us out in Tennessee when we pulled the 17 cars out of the water and looking for Bill Simmons. I volunteered his time, his boat, to do whatever he could just to help out. And after that, there was a case that I was not a part of. I got this from somebody who was a part of it, that this person reached out to AWP, said, I heard you're going to be in this area. I'd like to come out and help you guys out, if not just buy you dinner. And the answer was yes. So that person took Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off of work to be able to do that. And on the way up, which was hundreds of miles away, to meet up with them. Yeah, it's Roy. Anthony's like, that's Roy. Yeah, it's Roy. Bless his soul, man. He's just an awesome human being through and through. There's nothing that's not awesome about that guy. So after driving hundreds and hundreds of miles, he said, hey, I'm in the area or whatever. When can we meet up? And basically the response was, your services are no longer needed.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So not only did the guy take 3 days of vacation, he also spent probably hundreds of dollars on that trip. And, got a middle finger in the air to you, like, thank you for all your help, but you don't mean anything to us. You're not a part of the team.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I'm Fubar. Question, your opinion. If Jay gets off, do you think he'll be a dead man walking, quote unquote?
He won't be living here. He'll take his tens of millions of dollars and be living in Fiji or Tahiti or something. It's just my idea. Why would you stay anywhere in the United States where you can be recognized? His face is all over YouTube. Or go live in his new $1.2 million house.
Krista was asking, so when they were on the road, were they to call Jared for things to get fixed, or were you all told to do live streams and ask others to help fix things?
What's the premise of that question? I guess the meat and potatoes of it.
So when they were on the road, were they to call Jared for things to get fixed? I'm kind of confused too. Or were you
is that the new team because Jared wasn't with them when things needed to get fixed? Did they call him to do a live stream? I don't know. I think that's where they're going with that.
maybe, yeah.
Because the new team, like, they ran out of gas one time. They've had bad luck with the RV quite a bit when Jared was not, traveling with them. I don't know the answer to that, but that's probably what they're asking.
Okay.
Where's the gloves off questions, guys? You wanted to come at me in the comments? I'm here now.
I saw a lot of love, man. I don't know what those people are never really around when you offer them to.
Yeah.
Brandy said, "Do you think he used his donations to buy the new house?" That's a good question. I mean, I know
Oh
you
my
don't
gosh.
know, but...
I mean, so here's what donations are. Everything besides ad revenue. That's a donation. Donation is the merchandise that he sells. That's people donating their money to wear the gear because they're under the pretense that I'm buying your stuff because it's going into helping families. Super chats, that's donation. PayPal is a donation. Memberships is a donation. Everything 100% besides ad revenue is a donation. So everything that was bought, purchased, personal life or for the channel is from a donation.
Somebody said, I don't know, I just found this funny. Jared will go to Fuck It, Thailand. There's actually a place named Fuck It.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
When you're a grown man that's made a lot of mistakes, go to Fuck It, Thailand.
All right, next question. Tark says, is it public knowledge that Jared has been sexually harassing people all along, only using caps to get the question noticed? Allegedly. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. No.
Thanks for the question, though. Dark Wolf. Hey, Kevin, what's your thoughts on Bishop talking ish about Sam spreading lies? That's what Dark Wolf is asking.
So, yeah, that's a great question. We're all human beings and we all make mistakes. And some of us make them on social media or the presence we have here on YouTube, and some of them make them in private. I'm not going to defend anything that Doug did. I'm just going to give you the human nature of, us as human beings. I'm sure I'm going to do something or have done something. I'm going to ask for forgiveness in the future from somebody or people, just because I'm a human being. But when you're thrown the amount of success to Doug, his thoughts on his future, one being a celebrity, two being independently independently wealthy, and being able to work for himself or with a team and not go to work every day. I stated it in the past live stream. Doug was a major fanboy of Jared, and I think that the motivation for him to be a fanboy is because he wanted to be Jared-like when it came to success. And so this is the way it was before Doug. It was Jared and Sam. And Sam was the number two. When somebody's coming into that team who can't be number one or number two, and the number two seat opens, you're going to make stabs to keep that seat open until you're sitting in it. I think that's how it went down.
So somebody, let's see here. Somebody was asking about. I saw somewhere in the chat. Okay, I'll just answer this real quick. Let's see if I can share the screen. Somebody was asking about, has AWP lost sponsors? And I saw this the other day. According to this Reddit post, it said confirmed sponsors that have dropped the channel: Voda Safe Aqua Eye, XPon 360 lithium batteries, Garmin has confirmed they do not and have never had a sponsorship with AWP. Ocean Technology Systems, OTS, established titles, sponsor the final Donnie Messier video. Messier, I think. O3 Dry Shoots and O3 official statement. Oh, they had an official statement. And Lights in Motion, underwater dive lights at another company who says they had no sponsorship agreement with AWP. Lights and Motion official statement. And yeah, so there's a couple of them that have dropped. And then the other thing too with the house purchase, this is a thread that I was actually thinking of getting into, not on this stream, but maybe another time, where they looked into this 1.2 million house purchase, and that there was a GoFundMe, I think, within a month or so, he had collected nearly $40,000.
Yeah, I saw that. Mm-hmm. They actually almost exceeded it within the first couple hours.
Mm-hmm. So that's,
he even put up a list of exactly how much each thing costs for that magnetometer. And there was even one of the tabs was like miscellaneous. He put in there. Wow. Every single time you can get $1 to that guy, he'll take it. Yeah, there it is. Miscellaneous accessories.
He breaks it down. Wow, even the GoFundMe fees. Oof.
Yeah. I mean, come on. How much of a piece of crap can you be to put that? You eat the fees, dude. If you're taking all that money and you eat the fees.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people, dude. Some people.
And we got everything marked down, all the fees and everything. You're not getting nothing.
Yeah. And the reason why you're giving that much evidence is to sell the crap that you're selling. You're selling, I need your money. And here's all the reasons why. Just put magnetometer. It costs this much.
Oh, and Brandy says, well, it kind of goes back to the question, the conversation we're having now. Do you think he used donations to buy his new house?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, everything's a donation besides that ad revenue.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. You know? I mean, it's he can, I guess, use it how he wants, I guess. Even though there's families and everything and equipment gear being put there.
And there's a lot of times too, guys, that he was asking for donations of people's time. I need your help. I need you to come fix this. If you know anybody who's a welder, he was even asking for that stuff.
Jeff said in the comment, she likes that you came up with the phrase "adventures with surplus."
Yeah, I coined that one. I actually got scolded for it. Yeah. I actually thought it when I'm gonna give you a little piece of my humor here and the kind of person I am, which I ended up not doing it because I didn't want to carry around Adventures with Purpose on my channel. But for a time there, I was going to make shirts called Adventures with Surplus with a green flag instead of, the red flag, Divers Down flag. And I was going to wear it on my channel because I was so upset on how they treated Sam. But after that wore off a little bit, I thought, I don't want to take this team with me on negative comments and things like that. But that would have been hilarious. I think I would have done very well having an Adventures with Surplus shirt on my body.
That'd be funny, man. Merch. Okay, let me super chat. Thank you, Veronica. The super chat says, Kevin, do you think Doug deserves the backlash he is getting, or is it fair?
I think we need to keep the focus on Jared. If we're going to demonize people for their mistakes their entire life, where's the forgiveness in that? Has Doug done anything to anybody that's been watching those videos besides maybe make him angry? It's not something that you want to demonize somebody for. Doug and I have fallen out. I'm not sure if we're going to be friends again. I don't know. It's not even a conversation that we've had. But I can tell you this publicly. I forgive the guy for everything he did. So why can't you?
Okay. Somebody said here, the Rich asked, Doug is a partner, isn't he? I have no idea.
I don't know.
I don't know what kind of contractual agreement he might have. Let's see what else. Kevin, okay, Audrey has a question. Says, Kevin, are you aware of any complaints concerning Jared from family members of the missing?
Yeah, complaining about the filmography side of it, the production side of it.
I mean, even Sam's son spoke spoke about the whole money shot thing. I think it was, right.
Yeah.
I think that's
I
what
mean,
it was.
to put it into perspective, you take a guy, a young man who has no money in the middle of the country, 1,000 miles away from home, was so upset with the way that things were done on that channel that he had said, I'm leaving you, Dad. You can't stop me. And I'm going home on my own dime.
Right. Let's see what else we got.
I also kind of want to point out that looking at through the viewers' eyes who have been watching AWP, for years, or who are just now getting into it, when you see that there was an exit by many people, myself, Dan, and Sam, and I, and especially Dan, we left it off of YouTube. I did a live stream saying I'm leaving. I know the reasons why I'm leaving, and it's because of somebody else that I don't want to put their business out there. And I was talking about Sam leaving. Sam hadn't made an announcement yet, so I wasn't going to make the announcement. But looking at it through the viewer's eyes, you can go back, and if you're going to look for something, you're going to find it. And they're looking for reasons to find out, or to have evidence that people knew. So no, all those videos that we quit because of moral reasons when it came to money and how people were being treated. None of it had, I can promise you, I would have came out and said something on YouTube. If I would have found out, I would have came out and said something on YouTube and killed my career and probably been some type of lawsuit of defamation of character. But I would have not said something.
Excuse me. Moonlight had a question, and it says, Kevin, you being former law enforcement, how were interactions handled with Jared and law enforcement?
Goods and bads. There's good and bad in law enforcement. 90% of law enforcement's not only good, but very good.
Cancel.
Cancel.
Just kidding.
Oh, yeah, YouTube, It was on my channel. I don't mind about being demonetized. Come over to my channel. We'll talk about that. Maybe I don't even do videos anymore. But anyway, but there is 10%, and I can give you one of the instances that I was on a different channel. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But a lot of law enforcement will go out there, and not a law enforcement, but the 10% of the law enforcement will go out there and they have that ego. Like, I've been doing this for 20 years and blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to have some YouTuber come out here and tell me how to do my job. I've seen a couple sheriffs absolutely, or deputies on sheriff's department absolutely, give the backhand to helping, or even to giving up having knowledge in the area to Jared. But 90% of them were overwhelmingly respondent and helpful. Now, the one I actually did a video, which I never released. Jacob and I, Chaos Divers, Lindsay, and Lindsay's husband, Eric, who was also a diver, went out to do this case in where Jacob lives. And we're on a private dock that you have to pay monthly for to be able to use. So we're on his private property, which we already have permission from the person who runs the dock to come down there and launch a boat and search for this car. But law enforcement shows up, and they're out of the 8 guys that were there. There was that one 6'4", 250, 80 pounds of it's a beer belly. Cop who came down there and immediately was like, hey, everybody come over here. I'm going to tell you how this is going to go. So I immediately said to Lindsay, if he comes after you, I'm taking the gloves off. I'll put him in his place because, they don't have a leg to stand on. We're not committing any crimes or impeding in any investigation. So anyway, this guy comes down and he starts talking about the last time somebody was down here searching this dock, they left a whole bunch of garbage, and we're not going to have that today. And if I see any of this, I'm going to kick you all off this property and blah, 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 blah. And I pretty much told him, you're not even really supposed to be here. This is private property. It's not public. If the owner has an issue with anything that we do, I think it's 100% going to be taken care of here. I don't even know why you're here. You're basically showing your badge. And the guy was like over talking me every time I tried to describe something. So I would stop talking. And then when I would start talking again, he would be like, don't interrupt me. And then the whole crowd was like, actually, he's never interrupted you. You've been interrupting. And I'm recording it on my phone. And as soon as I hit record on my phone, which is probably 10 minutes in the conversation, he kind of changed a little bit, but he only changed for a minute. Then he went automatically back into his piece of crap mentality that he had. And he told me, he's like, you're not going to speak down to me. You're not going to overtalk me. And I said, it's not an arrestable offense. If you don't like the way I'm talking to you, then just leave. And he's like, well, what makes you think that you can't talk to me this way? I'm like, well, I was a cop for a very long time. And he goes, I've been a cop for 20 years. How long have you been a cop for? And I told him it's not really up for discussion. We both are law enforcement, and you don't have a leg to stand on. I can say whatever I want as long as I'm not impeding an investigation, which I'm not doing, and I'm not committing a crime. Then you just basically need to shut up. And if you don't like it, leave. And they ended up leaving. So I was going to do a video on that, and Jacob's like, "Yeah, don't release that." I'm like, I'm not going to."
Damn.
Yeah. And that was that. Like I said, out of 1,000 people, there's going to be one, and that's it.
Let me ask you a couple of questions. Well, let me read this one chat from Sam. He says, I was concerned about the safety on that case. He kept saying wild things, type of thing that would definitely rail up others, speculating on who did what and pointing blame. I think he's talking about the Suzanne Morphy thing. Here's one that's kind of, well, let me do this one first. It's kind of quicker. Hello, Laura. It almost made me kind of laugh a little bit. She said, did AWP get a PPP loan? I mean, I know you probably wouldn't know because it's after your time, but
I'm laughing at one comment here. It says, question, if the fans could organize it, would you be interested in doing a charity boxing match with Jared?
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. I don't want to go to jail for murder.
Do you know anything about PPP loan? Probably not right now. You wouldn't know. Moonlight asked, Kevin, were you on site with Natalie Jones?
I have to names when it comes to cases. Just from me working so many cases in my entire life when it comes to the Coast Guard and or Adventures with Purpose, just by default you start to not remember those type of things on purpose. So you're gonna have to refresh my memory of where that case was and maybe the time frame of it.
Yeah, I have a hard time with that sometimes too, because I cover so many stories, and sometimes somebody will ask me the name, and I literally have to go into my search thing because we're just every day covering different people and stuff.
It's also a way to disassociate yourself with the humanity side of a case when you deal with too many of them. I mean, PTSD is a real thing.
Yeah. Okay. This was kind of us. Caitlin said Jared threatened to sue when he wasn't paid reward money. Ethan, I don't know how to pronounce the last name. This is actually something. Kazmerzak. Yeah, I was looking into this the other day. It's kind of like a tough one, though. Do you know anything about that one? Or
I had heard that the day that AWP found them, that the reward was yanked. I also heard, I didn't hear from Jared's mouth or anybody's mouth, just the team members and things like that, that there was going to be a suit brought against the foundation that was holding the reward money.
So I was looking into this the other day, and it's kind of like a mixed up thing, because there was this person that, after 6 weeks of Kazmerzak went missing, 5 anonymous donors created a $20,000 reward for information to help find him. In 2015, that reward was increased to $100,000. And I think this guy actually kind of screwed up. At first, I really was kind of thinking like this was on Jared, but I was reading Reddit, and supposedly it's kind of like you said, the day they found him, because the news supposedly was saying the reward was still active. The day they found him, all of a sudden it's kind of like yanked or disappears. And this guy Brad Staley, who coordinated the reward among 5 original donors, said the money was pledged. It reminds me of Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. For anybody in the chat, pledged. We're just pledging.
Yes, I pledge the money. Yes,
we're just pledging this shit. We're not really gonna do it. Not paid up front and was renewed for 2020. And he claimed there in his statement was, as you can imagine, with the pledges, 7 years after the fact, there would have been businesses that pledged that are no longer in business, people that pledged that are no longer alive, people that pledged whose financial situations have severely changed. So they kind of pulled back, it seems like, after they said they were going to. And he had threatened to like sue them. He got an email from LASIK's group indicating it may file a lawsuit to try to collect. LASIK confirmed to the Register that his group is discussing possible legal action. He says that he wants to reinvest the money into his business and use it to help other grieving families. We never pursued Ethan's case because there was a reward tied to it, LASIK said. But if you take away this reward, then you have ruined the integrity of what rewards are for. And there was another article, I don't know where it's at now, but it turned out that the family had sent some of the money or something like that. And this guy, he didn't sue. So, but that's the question that person was referring to. And I was actually looking into this the other day. And like Kevin had said, people in the Reddit, I was looking back at this time, they were kind of complaining that it's like all of a sudden when they find, I don't know, I guess they found this person, that's when the reward gets kind of pulled and yanked. And the people they kind of started making these things excuses. So, the businessman or whatever that did it.
I think that I think, just because I know Jared, I think that him suing is for what you're seeing right there. It's for news and it's publicity. So, at that time when they found Kazmierzak, I think they had 400,000 subscribers. So they weren't making a ton of money. But, Jared's a businessman. You put in there, I'm suing for, $100,000 because of reward money that's not being paid out. It's going to make the news. And when it makes the news, just like what we're talking about right in here, you got 150,000, 80,000 views in the last video I did. That's 180,000 people that are having the word adventures with purpose in their brain. And it's making people go to their channel and do things. That's a good friend of mine brought up to me the other day is like, if you do any more conversations, it's just kind of fueling the fire of AWP, or it's kind of, supporting them financially because people are going to go to their channels and things like that. And this person's not right and he's not wrong. There's going to be, 100 channels covering this. I'm only going to do yours.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you coming on. Yeah.
So we're just going to weed through all the bull crap and it's going to be out there anyways.
And at the end of this, it does say that the family gave the dive team money. He could not say how much, but believed it was a significant amount. And so I guess case closed with that. Let me see if there's other questions.
Did Jared's wife dictate what would be searched? Yes.
Really?
Yeah. After some murder cases were searched on, there was worry from her. This comes from Jared's mouth that there was worry from her about not doing known murder cases anymore.
Okay. Oh, that's bigger. Kevin, are you aware of any complaints? Oh, we did this already. How do you feel about what Doug and Jared did to the Kylie Rodney case on YouTube? I know we kind of spoke about that.
Yeah, it's a business model that I don't agree with. Like I said before, Jared comes from the Patty Mayo channel, so he knows one style of network, or not networking, but advertising, and one style of filming. Patty Mayo's channel was a channel that was known to be false drama. Fake cops making fake arrests and just for the entertainment value of it. He brought that over to AWP and didn't have, I guess, the moral stature to not sell all these cases as more than what they were, which was helping families. They sold them as stories. And people's stories don't need to be told, in my opinion. I think their recoveries and the families finding peace should be told. But their stories, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
Just Ryan says, question, was it basically known in the community that Jared was fake and so slimy?
Do people in the community know?
Yeah, I'm not sure what community he's referring to, but
it was mentioned quite a bit in comments on his videos. It was known by people behind the scenes.
Gypsy says, does he plan on working with another company? Like, what does he do now? It was probably already asked and answered.
Who, Jared, Doug? Who?
I'm wondering if she's asking you. I know I took a note that you had said, I know you said at one point you were in, I think engineering is what you did. And
yeah,
my notes are gone now for some reason. But
it's all good, buddy.
And I know you were Coast Guard and you were a cop. And so, yeah, I'm not sure if she's asking about you or what, but I know you're not doing any security or whatever, or like with search teams or anything like that right now, or doing any kind of work with search teams, right?
Yeah, I'm at where I'm at. I'll do YouTube for fun. I'm really, really happy where I'm at. I work for an awesome company who has an awesome team. And I'm living the way I've always wanted to live before I traveled the country. So we're going to stay here and do this for a while. If Jared or if Sam wouldn't, here's a question. If Sam wouldn't have quit, would have I? Yeah. I don't know how long it would have taken. It would probably have been during the middle of that Colorado trip. I probably would have had enough.
Coward Ducks, if I'm saying that right. She says there was an episode where Jared was super pissed because the cops brought in their own dive team. Was it because he was losing money, shots, memento, or what exactly? You know?
No, Jared was genuinely pissed at law enforcement who would do things like that. What the reasons? There's probably multiple reasons why he was mad. One, because he's very, very, very arrogant, and if you want to challenge Jared, he's going to get very angry. You saw that in the video with Carson, him defending Carson coming over from AWP. I think there was also motivations for his anger or things that led into his anger with law enforcement by, them taking away the ability for him to film whatever and wherever. Because when law enforcement takes over, it's a crime scene, and you can't get in your boat and go interrupt their crime scene because that's against the law.
AD says there are rumors I've heard that Jared signed over AWP to someone else, possibly to avoid losing his assets. Knowing Jared, do you think that is something he would do?
Yeah, I would think that he probably did that before, right after the emails, I would say.
Okay.
You started noticing that he wasn't being on videos anymore. What's the reason for that?
I thought there was some other guy too that supposedly was, I don't know if his name was Peter or something, that was put on as the new CEO, but I don't know what happened with that guy. Cooper's amputee lifestyle.
Coop, what's up, buddy?
Really good guy. I've had a couple of conversations with him. You know him too?
Yeah, I've spent many nights in his driveway when my van got broken into in Tacoma, Washington. Cooper and his family were out in like Curacao or Bonaire or somewhere. I think it was Bonaire, which is an island off Aruba. And I called him up and I had said, "Hey, my van's broken into. I've got no window. Can I come sleep in your driveway?" He's like, "Yeah, stay as long as you want." So, yeah, there was a live stream I did from his house with Sam and all the family members and things like that too. Coop's a great guy.
I'm going to put his link to, maybe I'll have.
So if you guys don't know about Cooper, let me tell you real quick. This guy, he lost his leg and was done with life because of the hardships of losing his leg. So he actually is living the best lifestyle possible because of, the fun and the things that he's involved in. And he is making his channel, showing you all these wonderful things that an amputee can do. And his whole premise is, if I can do it, if whatever you're going through, you can do it too.
Yeah, I just started talking to him like recently. I think we've had 2 phone conversations, kind of lengthy, and they're really nice, in-depth conversations. Really good guy.
Yeah.
And definitely check out it. We might even have him on sometime, but check out his channel. Good guy. He has videos here, diving stuff, and he had a question, and so his question was, can Jared's fans still donate by putting money on his books so he can buy some soups and some soups and honey buns from the commissary in the joint? I think they can, man. They're so I've heard there's like a support group
Yeah.
on Facebook, and they're going hard. They're going really hard. They're
Like
actually,
Save Ferris type of thing.
yeah, they're going and buying more merch, more products because the situation
Losers.
is going to support them.
Losers. Why? Why?
Let me see if I have any other ones here. Okay, I think that's all I got for now. I did see. Oh, Laura says, "Can we all send soap on a roll to Jay's jailhouse?"
Don't drop it. Don't drop the soap. I think he'll have his, for lack of a better term, his hands tied in the penitentiary. He'll be busy for a while.
Laura Hobbs says Carson is very talented with his work. Thank you for the
Yeah,
super
very
chat.
talented.
All right, I think if there's any other final questions you want to get in the chat, or if anybody has anything else.
I will not be reading the comments of these videos afterwards because I gave those people a platform. And since you guys aren't here, I'm not going to give you any more of my time with the gloves on. Feel free to put the comments in there. I'm sure it will do the video and iCkEdMeL's channel a lot of good because all comments are good as the algorithm. But sorry guys, I won't be reading them.
So let me skip to this one real quick. Lee Hines says, I was helped by Jared. I can give you some firsthand experience of what victims' family feels like. If you want to come on, you can. It's up to you. If you
Right
want
now?
to share that experience, or if you want to do it another time. Yeah, she can come up right now if she wants to.
Yeah.
If the mods can look out for her comment, I'll put the link if she wants to come on and she can share. That'd be probably a nice way to kind of maybe head towards the end. Southern Safety. I bought AWP a live view underwater camera. Never saw it used. Thanks for that comment. Moonlight says Jared threatened to sue me over everything I was worth and nail me to the wall. His exact words, because he did not like my comments. And
I heard that story.
I've seen actual emails from the AWP support team about that. I've never put it out because I haven't gotten permission or anything like that. But I did see that, and I'll leave that at that.
Yeah. I believe this person even emailed me quite a bit during my travels about that, if this is the same person. And I want to publicly apologize to you that I was not able to give you the time you needed for emailing me that stuff. If you don't know, I had a family loss in my family the last 5 months that I was on the road. So I had a lot going on.
Oh, yeah. And I was talking to Cooper about that too, and a couple other people. And so we were just trying to find out. And I'm going to keep in talks with her. I mean, we'll see what she wants to do with that. I don't know if she wants to put it out or just leave it at that. But I did see those emails as well, the email exchange. Another thing, let's see, Down the Hole Rabbit News. And by the way, she has a great channel. I love what she's doing. I think she's just super humble and genuine, and there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes with that. So, just gonna put her up on the screen too. Down the Hole Rabbit. You guys, most of you guys in the chat probably know, but make sure you subscribe to her. She had said, did Jared's wife, oh yeah, you already got that. Did Jared's wife dictate what can't even talk, what would be searched? And so
I think she definitely had a voice in what not to do.
right. Another one.
Yeah, definitely, guys. Go sub to Cooper's channel, man. I'd love to see that guy with like 50,000 subscribers making some retirement money, and for more reason because people get to see, somebody do it. Somebody go out there and live life with an amputee.
Okay. Lee Hines says Sam and Corey have huge hearts and stood by my wife and by my side. Maybe she will call in. Yeah, Lee Hines, we can do it. I have somebody watching the chat for me, so if you give the okay, I can drop the link. Uh, Lee doesn't want to come on. We'll stay in the comments. Okay. And if Lee, if you at another time, if you feel like you want to do something off air or pre-recorded, maybe you feel more comfortable, we can do that too. And when you join on StreamYard, it doesn't have to be video. You could just come audio. It doesn't have to be, that. But yeah, I appreciate your comment though. Or you know what? I can drop your phone number too if you want. If you're more comfortable with a phone number, just audio, we can do that as well.
Here's a thing that I did on my channel that might help you out doing yours as well. Is that you could talk to them in Discord.
Oh yeah. Okay, Lee wants to call. Okay, let me see if I can do this, and hopefully, I forgot I can do this. Okay, I'm gonna try something.
The question is, how often did Jared interfere with investigations? It wasn't often, but he would sidestep. But you guys got to remember, I wasn't a part of Adventures with Purpose for very long. Is it true that Jared's not supposed to be in the courthouse? No, he opted out of being in the courthouse. He doesn't want to be on camera.
So I'm gonna need you to do a test for me. When I start to dial in, I want to know if you can hear the audio of me dialing in. So that'll tell me if they call, you can hear them. So 1 second here.
Are you asking me or the chat?
You.
Okay.
My computer froze there.
Thank you for calling Call-In Studios host and call screener line.
Yeah.
Please enter your show or meeting number and press pound.
Okay.
From the Call-In Studio web interface.
Okay, if you can, the mods can drop the link or the phone number. Actually, I mean, just drop the phone number. That would work. Or maybe I don't know if I need to keep the screen up. Maybe I need to keep that up. I don't know. So we can take the call. And I just want to say real quick too, this stream is sponsored. I've been trying to fit a sponsor in since like a couple of days ago. So we have the app that's called Swag It. All you have to do is click the link. You could be entered in to win $500 at the end of the month. We just had a giveaway last Saturday, and we gave away $500 through the company, and I gave away $200 of my own money. So definitely check out the company. Make sure you click the link, download, follow me on there. That's all you got to do. And you enter in to win free money. And I post videos on there too, short videos. Please drop Sam's link too. Yeah, I had on my previous live streams, I had all the links to all the people I think you needed to subscribe. And I'm going to see if I can pull it up while we wait for the call. The phone number, if Lee, if you want to call in, it's 954, or your wife, 954-787-3009. I'll put it in the chat again while I get the links. And I ask you, please, man, go support these guys. Cooper, Sam, Kevin. I'm going to put the link to his channel as well. Just go subscribe to the channels and just give some love back. That would be nice. It'd make me feel good too if you guys just did that, Okay, we got the call. All right, so let me see. Let's see if this person here. 306. 306, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, how you doing? Who's this?
This is Lee.
Hi, thank you for calling.
Hey, so I'm not sure if Kevin's still on there. Can Kevin hear me too?
I can hear you, Lee.
And Lee, I don't know. The only issue I think is I don't think you'll be able to hear Kevin's response, but Kevin can hear you though. So I can intermediate if I have to.
Okay, well, let me give a shout out to Sam and to Corey. Both of those guys. A little bit of background. My son, he drowned in the river about a year and a half ago. I had already been friends with Corey, and I believe, through all the chaos, it's hard to, keep track of what all happened. But I think Corey reached out to Sam, and Sam reached out to Jared. And I think even Sam's son, Kyler, knew my son and was like, hey, Dad, we got to help. And so they all showed up. I was trying to get as many people as I could to the river to try and help find our son. I think we looked for him for 28 days. And I don't remember what day it was, but, they got Jared there. And it was just, it all just seemed like smoking and mirrors and everything like that. He showed up and he's got his camera and he's running around stuffing his camera in people's faces and then he gets in the boat and he goes up and down the river with sonar and Sam and Corey were kind of like there helping me and big shout out. I know Jim Miners in the chat group, and Jim was there from start to finish. Corey and Sam were there from start to finish, but Jared just showed up and wanted to stuff his camera in everybody's faces, and when he found out that it wasn't something that could benefit him or he can get any views from his subscribers on his channel, it was just like poof, gone. I don't even think he was there for a full day. It was just like a show that he tried and then get the hell out of there.
Wow. I mean, first I want to say sorry about your son. Can you tell me his name?
My son's name was Zach.
Zach? And same last name?
Yeah. Zach Rager. Right now I currently have a whole bunch of stuff in the works because we're trying to pass Zach's law to, bring safety and awareness to cold water shock and in the state of Washington up here. But, he was a tough, physical fit, young kid, strong swimmer, and he wasn't ready for it.
Wow. So his name is Zach Greger?
Rager. R-A-G-E-R. Rager. Yeah.
Yeah, I met Lee. He's an amazing person.
Oh, I see. Zach's Law. Okay. I just wanted to be able to pull it up and look at it as well.
Right.
Wow. I'm sorry about that. And so for Jared, it was just it was all about production value. You're saying, right? It just.
Yeah, it was, I think at one point in time he had put the camera in my face, asked me to talk and tell about it, and, I'm trying everything I can as, the victim's father to try and, get as much help as I can. We just want to find our son. And from my perspective, it was just, can I get anything? Can I gain anything? Is this going to be good for me? And it was, to hell with the victim's family, and I got to get the next shot.
Holy crap.
And right off the bat, when they first showed up, one of the things that my wife said to me was like, I got a funny feeling about him. I don't like him. It's just like, she never even met the guy, and the first opinion of him was that something was wrong. And I'm like, well, and I'm telling the wife, we need to get all the help we can, to try and find our son. So let's just see if they can help. And I mean, she was against it to begin with. Luckily for Jim and Sam and Corey and the time that we spent, after 28 days, we did find our son. But
so he didn't actually find your son, AWP.
No.
Right.
Like I said, he
came
up
there and
he wasn't even there for a full day.
He wasn't even interested, it seemed like.
Jared and Coop helped out quite a bit.
Jared and Coop did? Helped out a bit? Oh, this is
They
sad,
helped
man.
out tremendously. Same
Wow.
with Jim Miner.
Wow.
So yeah, so I can only imagine what some of these other victims' families felt like, because I know that, you know, we just felt like absolute garbage. You know, like it didn't matter. He wasn't there to help.
Wow. Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that. This is the first time I'm hearing of this story, but I was able to find it now. And
Yeah,
what
I don't
is?
even know that after.
I'm sorry.
I
go
don't
ahead.
even know if, because after he tried to help us, like I followed him for a minute and then I just unsubbed quick. It was like, to me, I felt like it was a joke in what he was doing.
Did you ever get Zach's law passed? So it was supposed to be for shock drowning to prevent education in shock drowning.
It should be going back up this legislative session, you know, and I mean, if all your viewers, you know, want to get on and support when the time comes, that'd be awesome, because, you know, the more support and the more lives that we can save, the better. But, you know, it's an ongoing process.
Well, thank you so much, man, for calling and giving, you know, some feedback of your experience. And again, yeah, I'm sorry about your son. Yeah, I can imagine what that must be like for them to show up and maybe get some sort of hope, and then it's just like, all right, we're leaving. It's like it's not worth their time or whatever, and they just leave.
Yeah, no, it was pretty awful. You know, and like I said, again, thanks to Sam and Corey, who they were there from start to finish, from the beginning till the end. And then I think I also said in the chat too, it's because of them I was inspired to get certified to dive to help other people.
Really?
Because of how good they were. So now I'm actually a certified diver. I dive with Corey and Sam, and I was trained and certified by Jim Miner, who's, you know, an instructor. So all of those guys that were there by my side and helped me have just, I mean, I became friends with all of them.
Well, thank you. And yeah, for people wondering in the chat, that's Corey is Cooper, by the way. Corey's Cooper. He's talking about this guy right here.
Amputee lifestyle.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate the call. And if you need anything, yeah, email me or reach out to me. And just again, yeah, thank you for giving us some insight. And it also just kind of shows more too of Corey Cooper and Sam, just like their character, and more, I guess, to Jared as well. You know.
Yeah. No, and when everything was dropping down on Sam, you know, I could only sit back because, you know, I'm not really into the whole YouTube thing, and nor do I have any plans on it. But I was angry for him, seeing, you know, because I knew his character as a person, and seeing how he was getting all this backlash, and, you know, as a friend, there's nothing I could do about it.
Sam said in the chat, said Jim Miner was there before I showed up. Much respect. Yeah, thank you to Jim as well. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate the call. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, thank you. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, thanks. Take care. Wow. Yeah, interesting call for sure. And just another.
I had the privilege
experience.
of meeting him. He's a great person. He's gone through a lot.
Okay. Any other? Let me see if I had any other questions or thoughts. I think that might have been it. Okay. And Kevin, if you had anything else, I'm gonna put your link to. Your link is in the description. I'm gonna put it in the chat as well. Go subscribe to these guys. Show some support.
Yeah, there's actually a video with Lee in it if you guys want to see who he is, and, you know, his kind of his hanging out with Sam and myself and Cooper. I did a video on that.
On your channel?
I'm not trying to plug my channel at all.
No, but plug it in, man.
But we did a video with him. It's a short video. If you go to my videos, it'll be probably 40 videos down. and it'll be a thumbnail of Sam, myself, Cooper, right there. 3 divers, metal detectors. So that's would be in.
Okay, it looks like we're here at the cold waters of Lake Tapps, T-A-P-P-S, here in Washington. And I think this is the first official video back for Sam the Adventure Man, but it's also this guy's first video with Sam in a while, probably, huh?
Yeah, yeah, it actually has been a while, huh?
So what are we doing out here today?
Well, we're at Lake Tapps. We're gonna go look for some treasure. We're using our underwater metal detectors. There's gonna be 3 of us diving, Sam, myself, and Lee. And at the very least, we're gonna pull a lot of trash out, like nails, bottle caps, whatever, just to make the environment a clean and safe place for swimmers. But hopefully we're gonna find something cool. So maybe we'll find a ring or maybe gold or silver.
That's payday for us. But what you also ought to do is, why don't you introduce who you are? And you have a YouTube channel.
I do have a YouTube channel. So my name is Cooper with Cooper's Amputee Lifestyle. And so I'm a person with a prosthetic leg, because I have an amputation, of course. And I have to use that prosthetic leg to get around and go on my ventures, like diving out here in Lake Tapps. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be inspiring others. I'm going to be inspiring others to get out and live life and love life by chasing your dreams, hobbies, and adventures, just like I'm doing. Because we all know that we're all kind of down in the dumps sometimes. So let's be happy. Let's go out and live life. I just want you guys to do the same.
And for him, it's diving in waters. Let's go see Sam. All right, we decided to come on the other side of this bathroom facility to block the wind. Looks like we've got some special guests coming over here. Whoa!
Yeah. What's up, guys? Good to see you. Just getting ready to jump to the water, man. I'm really excited today. We have 3 different divers with metal detectors. Myself, Corey, and also Lee Hines. He's back there. So I'm like super pumped about right now. It is really windy. It's really cold. I'd say with the wind chill, it's probably feeling about maybe 38 to 40 at this time.
Yeah.
Super cold. But hey, we're from the ice world. Here we are.
So when I left this place, which is Washington, in November, it was raining and cold, and I'm back here in May, and it's raining and cold. But the scenery hasn't changed a bit, but definitely the mood. So I'm glad to be back here in Washington.
Heck yeah, man. Glad
doing
to
some of this YouTuber stuff with you guys. And we just introduced Corey. Should we introduce
Yeah, Lee.
Lee? Lee, you want to come over here?
Yeah, I'm gonna get with my gear.
All right.
Yeah, guys, this is Lee Hines. Good dude.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Lee,
Much more knowledgeable than me.
Don't mind the hair.
You want to introduce yourself for everybody?
I'm Lee. I metal detect. I just recently got into scuba diving. So I got a new piece of equipment today. It's the pulse dive. So it's a handheld metal detector underwater. It goes up to 300 feet. So I'm going to test it out today and see how it does.
Cool.
So good group of guys to be detecting.
It's going to be a lot of fun today.
Yeah.
Especially for me, because I get to stay dry and on the shore. If you guys want some really good experience and education about what to do, the shore, the water, just join the Coast Guard like I did. You learn that being up on the shore is much better than being in the water. All right, I'm going to get the drone set up because we're going to do some aerial shots of here today, and we're going to get these guys in the water and see what they can find. So we'll see you soon. So far,
I found a really old Sprite can.
Yeah, huge shout out to Lee, man.
wow, that's from like the
Big meet you, buddy.
90s or the 80s maybe.
Yeah, look how preserved it was in the mud.
It just like makes it more real and just I don't know, just for everybody to see, even myself, like, holy crap, that's him right there. We
Yeah.
just spoke to him, you know, like, wow, they're all together.
People can come back and watch this video if they want to. I would just kind of scroll to the end. There's an interview with Lee
Okay.
and the guys. You could probably just, I think it's the last 3 minutes of the video or something like that. Because this is about Lee. It's not about the video. You'll see us all standing. There you go.
Dude, that was awesome. My first time using that metal detector, I had so much fun.
Yep.
It was cool seeing you under the water. I saw you down there fanning and searching, and then you like looked up and you're all
I know.
surprised.
He came up on me, and I was sitting there going after a target, and I look up, and I'm like, oh, there he is. Where'd you come from? He was just out of nowhere. And then checking to see if I was okay, and it took me a second, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm good.
The visibility was actually not too bad. It was a good 10 feet, you would think?
Oh, solid.
Easily,
Yeah, it was pretty good. I didn't see any fish. You saw looks like a bass, that good sized bass.
I saw a bass.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I even went out in the middle. It was kind of trippy going out in the middle, and I think I even made it down to like 19 feet, and you could see all the big stumps that at one point they cut them, and all the logs and stuff before they flooded this area, making a lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was pretty neat.
Definitely a good dive, that's for sure.
Yeah. So what do you think about the metal detecting?
Oh man, I'm hooked. I mean, I was hooked. I've had it for about a week. I've already gone 5 times.
Right.
4 on land, once in the water today, and it's just.
Aside from your earring, because that's your first piece of jewelry, so what else have you got in there?
Nothing really too crazy or right home with or about. On land, I've got some coins and things, but out here in the water, it's mostly pop tops and soda cans and nails and that type of stuff. Nothing too crazy.
Lots of nails out here.
It's a lot easier to pull that garbage out when you can detect it instead of seeing it, because most of the stuff's buried under 2 inches of silt.
Yeah, we definitely got a lot of trash out today.
Yeah, absolutely. I would, and a lot of those nails were just on the surface. I could only imagine like somebody going out there barefoot and stepping on a rusty nail. Wear shoes if you're playing in the water.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did pull out a lot of trash. So that's good.
Yeah. And it was a lot warmer in the water than it was outside with this wind.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I was fine until I took my stuff off and it's cold.
So they were freezing, but we were comfortable.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, the next adventure, hopefully it'll warm up a little bit more and get out there and do some little more detecting.
Heck yeah, I'm ready for the next one.
Awesome.
That was nice.
Yep.
I remember when I was wrong screen. I remember when I was talking to Cooper in one of the phone conversations that I had with him is because we were talking about a little bit about Jared and AWP, and I was just kind of wondering and asking about the whole thing as like I don't know, divers on YouTube and stuff like that. Like it seems like to me like Jared was able to like successfully turn this into a business where usually these people really aren't making money. Like it's usually not enough probably to like support your family and like be able to do and help while doing that YouTube type of thing, right? I mean, do you know anything about that or any kind of feedback? Like I almost feel like he was almost an inspiration before everybody knew what he did, and maybe kind of hope that you can do this, you can dive and search and maybe even help families and make a living.
Who are we talking about here?
That Jared and AWP kind of like inspired maybe other teams and divers.
Yeah, one great thing that came about Adventures with Purpose, and there's many great things that came about it, was one, all the friendships that were made, and 2, all the people that discovered things to do, like becoming like Lee, becoming a certified diver through the friendships that he's gained with Sam and Corey. So there's always good in everything. So one of the great things is that it inspired kind of in Cooper to get his YouTube channel up, and I hope that his YouTube channel can inspire a lot of people who are going through the same things that Corey did when he lost his leg. So that it's good to see a lot of people come together and have just a fun day like that, but also doing good for the community, cleaning up the waters. And I'm sure there's people who are going to watch this stream that just seeing Sam and hearing his story, and Corey and hearing his story, and Lee and hearing his story, are going to find some inspiration in that to find the thing that they like to do, whether it's diving or whatever. metal detecting. Being out in nature is it's an amazing thing, and it heals a lot. Getting up out of the house and leaving the chair does wonders for the soul. So I think a lot of people will take that with them from meeting these guys.
Well, thank you, Kevin, so much for coming on again. I appreciate your time, man, and your patience. Sorry I had to push back the stream.
Yeah, no worries, dude.
And
just like me and you, we got to meet each other. And,
yeah,
and I'm sure we'll be friends for life. Just through YouTube or phone calls.
Kevin too, the same way he's on air now, he's off air. It's not like it's like some sort of different, like, he's same nice guy, great conversation, patient, just good guy, and the same kind of vibe that I've gotten from Sam and Cooper, and there was another person that I spoke to as well. So yeah, man, thank you so much again for coming on, and definitely check out these guys' channels. I've put it in the description. We've been dropping it in the chat. Just, send some positivity and love to these guys' channels. That'd be nice. And I think we'll be back. So I don't think this, but clearly it's not over. And also I think one day I might have Anthony on or send everybody to his stream. I haven't really figured out what we're going to do, but he had sent me like his employment contract, which I have to look over it. He spoke with his lawyer. He made redactions. And I think he's going to be sending some text messages to another channel, text messages between him and Jared. So we'll see what happens with that. And yeah.
So James Miner has asked this question a couple times, I think, and I'm going to answer it. He says, I want to know, is this affected your family? It has not. I'm very protective of my family. So yeah, it hasn't affected them at all.
Thanks for the question. Does Lee have a channel? I don't think so. Do you know?
Not that I know of. Okay. I even contacted Mel. A little insight for you guys behind the scenes is when he was doing that car chase video. I was sitting on the couch watching it, just loving the content. Dude, your channel is very, very, very informative and entertaining. You do it very well. So much props to you. And I'm sure you'll keep it real. But I called him up or texted him during that. I'm like, man, bring me up for some live, colorful commentary. We'll just ride this thing out. And that video that chase ended up being like a half an hour longer.
Yeah, we could try that sometime.
Yeah, we couldn't get it to go because we couldn't hear the audio. But yeah, maybe we'll do something like that in the future.
And apparently the audio works. At least it worked this stream where I can play the video and it worked. Because sometimes that's an issue. People come on panel, and because I'm using a different software, I'm using 2 streaming softwares. So sometimes the audio.
Yeah, but I always check my Windows settings for the audio, because you know how that sometimes just go to default when you start your computer up for whatever reason.
Somebody said, when am I going to get my diving license? I got to be a better swimmer. I don't know.
With that chin, I don't think a mask is going to fit you.
The beard and the chin.
You could be in UFC or boxing, never get knocked out.
All right, I guess that's it. Yeah, thank you guys so much again. Thank you, Kevin, for coming on, and we'll see what the future holds.
Yeah, look forward to seeing more from you.
Amazing. Thanks, man.
All right, buddy.
All right, guys. So let's see here. Thank you so much for everybody coming through. He took a shot at me. I don't know. It's kind of crazy the way things have worked out the last couple of weeks, and the people that I've come in contact with, and especially everything that's gone on, the weird stuff a couple months ago with all the lies and some of the channels that ran with those lies and all that. It's just crazy. But I think like the truth always prevails. Hopefully it does, and people's characters show and track record. And man, it's been a long day. And we so deserve a chase. We so need a chase. I love that we can do what we do on this channel that probably a lot of other channels can't do, running the type of content. Like I'm sure Fluzzy. I mean, look at what we did last night. We're just hanging out, having fun. People were upset, but being able to do like the chase stuff and having fun, because I feel like we need that comedic relief where most of the time, for most cases, majority of the time, nobody's hurt. And I only think there was one time, I think, where I had to delete a stream, but for the most part, we laugh, we have fun. No, most of the time, nobody gets hurt. Even one of the last ones that we did, where they broke into the family's house and then the vehicle was stolen. Those families raised the GoFundMe. They got more than enough for the truck. And I had seen recently too that those families had met up for dinner, and it turned out to be like this beautiful thing. And so I'm glad that we can have like those moments as well too, and it also just kind of sends some positivity when we can. And it's been a lot. It's been so much. Like even the last week, I've been spending the time just on the phone. Sometimes, like the mornings, just people calling me, I'm calling them, just back and forth. Sometimes it's pretty time consuming, but I've made a lot of relationships, good relationships, over the past week and a half or so. And so, I don't know. And then look too, we got our first sponsor on the channel, right? Never had a sponsor before. This was before this whole mess happened, but first sponsor on the channel, which is kind of cool because I like that we're able to do the sponsor where I can actually give away to people. And so 3 people won the prize. And then I also said, screw it, I'm going to give away some of my own money too. So I did give away the money. I think it's also dope that I can like donate to families and stuff like that. And so, you know, unfortunately, I had sent a donation to AWP before the Kylie thing turned into a mess. It was right after she was found. And I just thought it was the right thing to do. And I sent them a donation, and I sent the Kylie family a donation. And, you know, that turned out how it turned out. But I'm glad that I'm able to do those things when I can, you know, kind of pay it forward. Oh, and by the way, we hit 150,000 today. Isn't that amazing? I remember like back in the day, I remember somebody was talking shit. They're like, you don't even have 100 subscribers. Look now, right? And I'm really glad that I've had humbling experiences too, because I mean, this was like 2 years ago. I got really humble. I don't know what, I thought I was a shit, blah, blah, blah. And then I started making mistakes. I forgot what happened, but I was humbled. So, you know, I don't let it get to my head. You know, some of these other YouTubers, they think they're like a celebrity or something. They start treating people like shit. And not only that, they start treating law enforcement like shit. They start going to people's houses and treating people like shit. And I don't know. It's some of the things that I see online is kind of crazy. So I don't know. I'm just saying that. Just say that I'm thankful. So thank you guys for supporting me, for everything. I love you guys. You know, just kind of learning and going. And then even with my daughter, it's just so much in my life. Kindergarten and homework, and she's just like super sweet. And she's like, Daddy, I love you. Daddy, you're awesome. She's always telling me things. I don't tell her to say. She just tells me. So I don't know. I'm just blessed. You know. That's the thing. You got to appreciate what you have in order to get more. So, and one day I'm going to hit up Debbie so I can improve on my reading and pronunciation. Yeah, the sponsor's pin is the link. You got to make sure you use that link in order for it to be tracked. And I was even concerned about the sponsor, you know, because I was like, you know, I hope everything works out. And it did. We did it for a week trial. Everything worked out great. So now we locked in for one more month. So we'll see how the month goes. And, you know, we'll see what the future brings. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Yo, Lisa, we don't have any notifications for today. Let me check. I don't think we do. Let me see. Do we have notifications? Oh, I gotta check my. I have a different alt account just for notifications, so I can check. Oh, I think we actually somehow we have one notification left for today. Oh, maybe it's because I haven't ended the stream yet. No, I don't know why. Oh, you know what? This is what your dishwasher. Somehow, because of yesterday, one of my streams today didn't have a notification. I don't know which one. I mean, they all did good. I don't know. It's weird, but I believe I actually have one more notification left for today. Amazing. Got 2 on the list. So I got one more left. Wow. Matt, did you see how the owner of the work truck had 80K raised? But yeah. they did that on their own. I guess there's still good people out there. I don't know how, but yeah, people came through, helped them out. That's why I don't feel like if you do a GoFundMe, there's certain ways to do GoFundMes. I did one time, and it was a complete disaster and failure. That was when I first started YouTube, and I keep saying down the rabbit hole news. I'm sorry, but I had to GoFundMe for a camera. It was kind of silly back then, but I was like, people do it for sillier things, and it just blows up. And I did a camera, and it was like a failure, which I have multiple cameras. Well, one of them is at the bottom of the ocean somewhere. Jazz. one is at the bottom of the intercoastal, but this one that I have here, I was able to get it, I think last year or something like that. And then I have the webcam. But back then, that's the thing with YouTube. When you're first starting, you really don't need much. You can use a crappy webcam. You can use your phone. But at the time, I was thinking I was going to do this GoFundMe, and it was bad. Poorly worded. And there's a certain way. Somebody had reached out to me and told me, actually recently, because of that whole GoFundMe thing that happened with somebody. I'll just leave it at that. But somebody had reached out and said that, hey, could you reach out to this person because there's a way you're supposed to do it, and she screwed up, but we can help her out. And that was actually turned down by that person. But I always know there's supposed to be a certain way you go about it. To come off humble, tell people what it is for, whatever. And so, I don't know. He was told that, Jeff. He was told on camera that his van was in flames. I remember that. And because the kid was there too, and the kid was like, Daddy. He's trying to talk to the camera. Question: you think the IRS would be looking at him now? Yeah, maybe. True crime addict, maybe. I've seen some people kind of say that like maybe the media is not covering it as much because of all the times that this guy's been on the news, and so now I don't know if they feel like they look bad or did I want to cover him. I don't know. There's more media covering it though. People covered it, and some other news articles covered it. I feel like it still hasn't really. Law and Crime covered it. I feel like mainstream hasn't really done it as much. iCkEdMeL and Kevin, best comment entire video. Quoting Kevin, people gotta understand a lot of people aren't as sensitive as you are, referring to the self-righteous one. If you run out, so on YouTube you get 3 notifications in a rolling 24 hours. I try to contact the support team, but those people they don't know much. When you have to email them, those are the people that know, or if they elevate it. But usually if you do the chat option, they don't really know anything. But they told me that you get it in 24 hours, and I found out it's a rolling 24 hours. And so if you don't get notifications on the video, you get way less views. You can still have videos pop off. I've had them pop off if it's like something that's in the algorithm and people are searching for at that moment in time. But if it's not, there's a big difference in views. It just doesn't reach the people. I mean, when you have notifications, there's already issues. People not getting notifications. But if you don't have any at all, Rolling Stone covered it, really? Oh, shit. Rest in peace to the 7 victims. 7? The university. Oh, wait. University in Idaho. Rest in peace, take. Oh, okay. You're mentioning multiple people. Yes. That story is super weird. I don't know what's going on with that. We're definitely going to be following it. I didn't know it was going to turn out to be some weird thing like that, where this person is still, the person of interest, the suspect, is still missing. It seems like they have nothing. To go on. My daughter, she's 6. She just turned 6. She's amazing. We're here in South Florida. I feel like I do need more friends in her life that are like more consistent friends, She has like 2 or 3, or well, maybe 2 that are very consistent, but like it's good for kids to have that, because when she left daycare, those kids went to another school. They didn't go to the school that she went to. Kevin's channel, the Nomek. If I'm even saying that right, I think I said it wrong before. Nomek. In the description. Experience? Let me see. The no mock experience. And what I like about Kevin too, besides his character, is that he's easy to talk to. There's some people that I talk to and they're kind of a little bit hard to talk to. I've had people in general that are a little bit hard to talk to. And it's like kind of like pulling teeth. Everything's just so like smooth, natural, flowing. And I didn't tell him anything of the questions or anything like that. And also too, again, thank you to Discord, thank you to Twitter, all the people that help me out with questions. Thank you to the mods. Ooh. See, Rolling Stone. Yes, so Rolling Stone covered it. Ooh. True crime YouTuber was charged in the early 1990s child rape. He isn't denying it. Jared Lysick, founder of Scuba Search Team Adventures of Purpose, told a fellow YouTuber that the emails circulating online are his official response. He's talking about Jeremy. I think we got a. Oh, I thought that was an Amber Alert or something. They're talking about Jeremy with Exploring with Nug, and Jeremy had said that I think he said he texted Jared, and he was like, "Hey man, what's going on with all this stuff?" And he was like, "You're gonna make a response or something." And Jared allegedly told him, "That is my response. Those emails," and that's why based on him saying that is his response, I think the thing that Jared's gonna try to do in court, I think his defense is gonna be he's gonna try to say he was 12. He's gonna try to say he wasn't 17. He's gonna try to say he was 12. The court documents say he was 17. You know, I forgot what the technical term, the probable cause, I think. But in that email he said 12, and then that YouTuber, I think his name was Doug Diving Under or something like that, which his video was kind of, met with static, which I don't blame people, but they shouldn't have said those things about him. Whoever said the whole karma and his terminal illness, that was wrong. But that guy had mentioned something about ages and like, we'll see what happens in court. And so to me, he was almost like the way he worded that video, it was just so weird. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what he was trying to do. Maybe he was trying to be well-intentioned. Maybe, he seemed very biblical and he was trying to say like, don't pass judgment and stuff or something like that. But for a lot of people, I think it came across wrong. And he took it really hard too when people were responding in the comments. But he was, I think he was basing things off of Australian law. And I don't know. I interpreted it almost as if he was defending Jared. But I think what he was trying to do was, I think he was trying to say innocent until proven guilty, but it just, everything translated horribly when he was trying to, like, I don't know, go down the law and talk about ages and for, glass house stones or whatever the saying is people use, right? So that's what made me think anyway, though, that Jared's going to go for his defense is going to be one that he was abused himself. He's probably going to try to say, and also, which I don't think is any excuse, and then he's also going to try to say that he was 12, not 17. I think, just my opinion, I think that's his defense is going to be. And that's why he's saying, yeah, that email, that is my response. So. So if he was 12, she was 4 the first time and 9 the other times. Yeah, I think Down Under Dan. And I think he said it was going to quit off of YouTube. When I saw that, I was like, damn, that was quick. Them YouTube people ran him off. I don't think he'll be done, though. I feel like a lot of people say that and they go through the motions and they process things and then they come back. But I think the timing was just bad, and the word translation, everything just came across bad. And I personally took it as if he was defending Jared. That's how I took it, So. He said he quit, but then I thought he said I quit, and then he said he's not gonna quit or something. I don't know. I wasn't gonna make a video on that because I you know, I don't need to. Down under Dan. Okay. Yeah, I don't need to pile on or anything like that with that, like with that whole thing, you know, like I don't know. I don't even. People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Yeah, that's the same. Thank you, Flizzy. Uzi. I remember when pro divers did a reaction to AWP diving, they were slightly stunned by Jay's response. All right, well, I should head out because I don't want to make this video too long. For the people that are rewatching it, I don't want them to get afraid when they see 2 hours and 30 minutes because I'm rambling. If there's a chase, yo, I will come back. I would love to have a chase. I feel like we do need a chase. And again, check out the sponsor, the giveaway. Swag It app. It's a video app. You can earn swag bucks on there, which you can turn it into gift cards. And it's a new app, so they're still working out the kinks and stuff like that. If you have any issues, you can message me. No, I don't have a puppy. No. Could be my daughter in the background. But all right, I'm out of here. Love you guys. Peace. Have a good night. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Bye. Thank you guys again so much. Hit like on the way out. One notification left. We'll see what we do with it, whether it's in a chase or I just re-upload that Twitch video.